If I were the president, I'd reorganize and reorient my task force, and this is what he should do. He doesn't even need to create a separate task force to change it to reopening the country. If you are given advice by a doctor, you've got this risk factor for getting a disease, let's say among you or your family. And the only way to do that is to quit your job and never leave the house for the next 3 months and destroy your life savings. And it's not guaranteed that you'll get it. It's not guaranteed even if you get it, you'll die. You'd say no. It's not rational to shut down a nation in response to a pandemic. You can't end a pandemic. You can't cure a pandemic by killing an economy. You just can't. Our economy is our life. You can't have health care without an economy. You can't feed your kids without an economy. And the government can't spend enough to replace an economy. The left hates the idea of, quote, an economy because they're Marxist in orientation and they don't understand that the word economy and economic life is the lifeblood of our freedom. Property is the lifeblood of our freedom. Without it, we have nothing. Instead, the left is talking about rent forgiveness, mandating all sorts of giveaways from one segment of the population to another. Look, I know there's an emergency. In many ways, the government has deprived people of their private property rights, and they deserve compensation. I tell you, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits over this the longer it goes on. Attorney General Barr was on TV this week. He was suggesting almost as much. So you got to call the president, you got to call Congress, and you need to try to get the country back open again. The coronavirus crisis is no longer a crisis. The crisis is the destruction of our economy and our freedoms. Yes, too many people will die from the coronavirus. Too many people will get sick from the coronavirus. We don't want anyone to get sick. There's no scientific evidence. This is an experiment, a radical experiment that has no basis in science to shut down an entire nation to control a pandemic. We see this in real time. Places where they didn't really pursue a shutdown are not being affected. Places where shutdowns have been pursued are being affected in a calamitous way. So there's something else going on with the way this virus is spread that isn't necessarily controlled by this arbitrary and overbroad shutdown. You see it state by state, you see it across the country, you see it across the world. I mean, Japan, for instance, they didn't do the shutdown craziness the way we did. They don't have the problem we have. Why is that? There's no science behind this precipitous shutdown by the state governors. And again, it's the state governors doing it. So I encourage you, because I say, there's a lot at risk here. Our economy is being put at risk. The left must be cheering on the destruction of our rights because they see opportunities here for other emergencies. And now they're using it as a way to destroy our election systems. So we've got to end it. Just think of the healthcare industry. It's being decimated right now. In New York, it's terrible, I recognize. I mean, even if things are getting better in New York, I'm sure there are hospitals under stress. The rest of the country, the hospitals aren't under stressed. They are in the sense of economically, regular access to health care has been curtailed. I'd like the president to direct his task force to model the economic destruction of the shutdown, the health devastation of the shutdown, the impact on our health industry of the shutdown, when they ban elective medical treatments, that means someone isn't going to pursue medical treatment where it might otherwise be required. It might otherwise save their life if it's done in a timely way. Where's the accountability for that? And of course the president's instincts are with this approach. But in the end, it's the governors who are going to open up the states. And the governors need to get their act together.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.